Are you beginning to test for Galactic Championships in Vegas in 21, 22 days? Check my math. And have no idea what you're going to face? What's up, guys? KTOD, Matty here. I'm kind of in the same boat as you, but I'm going to try to predict the meta. I think I have a good idea based off of what was popular last set and the new cards, at least some idea of what we can expect at the Galactic Championships in Vegas. I figured this would be a good time. Early July, you're popping fireworks, you're playing a little swoo on the side. Maybe you have a cold beverage, maybe a hot beverage. Shout out to Luke Steiner. And you need to get your playtest on. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on what I think will be the most played leader, what I think is on the rise and what is on the fall, and also my pet picks for niche decks that I think could make a splash. Booyah. All right, so I'm going to get right into what I think the most played leader will be at the Galactic Championships. I bet you can guess from the thumbnail, maybe. It's Han Solo, young Han. Han, worth the risk. A leader that I've had a lot of fun with. Was able to top 2 Minnesota with him. Shout out to the Han Data Vault deck. I don't think people are going to be playing Han Data Vault. I think they're going to be playing either Blue Force or Green Force, or maybe even Yellow Force. I think you can play Han in any color, and I think that's why he's going to be the most played. I think he's viable in 3, maybe even, I mean, hey, why don't you try Mono Red? Go for it. But I think he's viable in like 2 main aspects, and I think there's also like play for the other one. So needs to be the most represented. I think the most played is going to be the blue. We saw it really make a splash towards the end of the last meta, and I think with some of the Force stuff going on there, playing, Kiadi Mundi and Force Throw with the top end of Luke's, that seems pretty good to me. And like stuff like Itinerant Warrior, been really good in that deck, so I think that's going to be the deck to look out for. I think the green is also really strong with the top end of like Yoda's and Kellerin. I think that's another good option to go. But yeah, I think that we are going to see Han is the most played. I think it's kind of a no-brainer in some ways. I don't think that's my spiciest take. But yeah, that would be, if I'm building a gauntlet, if I am prepping, if I like Han, I'm playing the mirrors, I'm practicing those. And if I don't want to play Han, that is going to be one thing I'm testing into. I would say mostly blue and green. The next leader I want to talk to you about, also from my thumbnail, is Kira. I think Kira is just one of those decks that you should always be aware of. I think it is the premier blue-green mid-range control strategy that we have in the game. There's other instances where maybe, Kira's unfavored to, like, say, something like Palpatine, or, maybe there's a world where you want to play Krennic and get that restore going. But I think pound for pound, Kira's the one you want to have your focus on. And so I do think it's going to be, if not prevalent, widely represented in day 3. I think we've seen that deck make such a good conversion rate time and time again. When we debuted the Data Vault version at Minnesota or at Richmond, that made a really good conversion rate. I think it's still, oh yeah, Woo won Minnesota with it. So it got some new tools. I would say, like, there's going to be in your playtesting, like, do you go ECL and play the new Vader and stuff like that, or do you stay with the Data Vault and go that route? So again, like, that would be one where you kind of want to have an inkling of both. I know that, like, you can't test everything, right? So I would just say, when you're getting used to playing against that deck or playing with that deck, seeing the different iterations, like, the ECL will probably be better into some of the mid-range stuff and have some clean lines into aggro, but if it has to face against the Data Vault version, usually kind of falters there, can't put the pressure on as much, but maybe things changed with that new Vader in that they can pressure you a little more. So I would say Kira, my prediction is that it will have the highest conversion rate of day 2 to day 3 decks. Day 1, I think, is going to be such a Wild West that I would just play value like Kira or like Han and just kind of ride the wave of your cards. But these predictions are really kind of like Yeah, most played is a prediction for day one, but I would say as the tournament goes on, that conversion rate, I'm really looking day two to day three. I think it's going to be hard to predict the conversion rates of day one to day two, but I'm sure Kira will be up there. It's really pilot dependent. The next deck or leader I wanted to talk about is Sabine ECL. Um, I honestly I thought Sabine ECL was going to be still a powerhouse in this new world, but I actually think that Sabine ECL is going to be on a decrease, a downrise, and I think the amount of play, um, you're going to see the play percentage really drop, and that's for a few reasons. One, like some of the new tools the Force got, so many more like early sticky units. You can put a blade on them, you can Moz them into Sabine's stuff. Um, Force throws live way more often, and with cards like Kiadi, you're just like you can just force throw yourself and take out something really pesky. And then there's Chariot and Itinerant Warrior. I think those are two cards that let Han Blue and like Anakin Blue, more on Anakin later, um, kind of fight that battle a little better. So I would, and here's another thing, because people are looking into the Force, I think the aggro players are going to start going into space. They're going to play the Poe ECLs. Maybe we'll see. We saw like some Luke Tarkin Town kind of make a little splash. Maybe people will jump there. And then obviously Vader Yellow, very strong deck, that did quite well in Minnesota, in terms of, like top 16 finishes. So I think this is a double prediction one. Sabine is going to be way down in play and will not. And actually, Vader Yellow is my prediction. That will be the most played aggro strategy. So if you are, running on what you should test, like Sabine or Vader, I'd say put more emphasis into Vader, especially because we've seen Sabine time and time again that you kind of know the big lines to fight. But yeah, my prediction: Vader Yellow will be the most played aggro strategy. All right, here's another one: highest performing Legends of the Force leader. No, it's not Calistus. It is Talzin. I think Talzin Red is going to be the best strategy to come out of the new meta, I think, or the new set. I think, there's a clear difference bump, a power difference between like Talzin, Obi, and kind of the rest of the set. Although, like, I've been playing a lot of Kylo. I think he's really fun. I think he's solid, way better than expected. And you could see him make a splash. I think he's going to be really good post rotation. But Talzin like fits right in. Blue red villain has been like waiting for this like mid range strategy to pop. We thought it could have been something like GI in the past, never really materialized. Although I have a GI Force deck that I've been playing that is actually really fun because you can kind of get the Force going a little easier with the untap. But anyway, yeah, I think Talzin is going to be that deck. So if you are kind of hesitant on testing against new strategies, Talzin's the one that I would pop into my gauntlet. I think it is going to be the best performing Legends of the Force leader. Write it down. Best Tarkin Town deck. We got three main contenders. I changed my camera, so three main contenders: Rey, Cad, Quinlan. Quinlan really made a splash early in the previous meta, and then like kind of dipped and came back. Rey, I think with all the Force stuff and like we're gonna be living in a Force world land, Rey could kind of sneak in there. Although I think you want to be on the Force now with blue red just because of how insane Kiadi is. So I think Rey won't be it. I think Quinlan might have a little trouble pressuring, but I think Cad could be the best one. It's kind of a toss up between those two, but I'm gonna give it to Cad. I think having, the McClunky lines with Big Friend Jabba, we saw it do well in Minnesota coming in second. We're seeing a lot of Han too. I think Cad could be the one. So my prediction is that Cad will be the best performing Tarkin Town deck, with Quinlan shortly behind him. Biggest fall off, I think that, because we talked about Sabine being like falling off from aggro, I think Han 1, our old friend, is going to be like nowhere to be seen. I think the prevalence of all this force units means there's going to be a lot of force sword decks, which is something he does not like to see. We've seen more discard kind of come in with the yellow cards, like the yellow force bounce, like little mini cunning thing. Seen some other cards like that. We got the Jedi in hiding. So I think that Han 1 may officially be B tier. I hope I'm wrong. I love that leader, but I think he's gonna have a really tough time at Galactics. So my prediction, Han 1 is gonna have the biggest fall from grace. We've already kind of seen him start to lose some of his win share. So that's it. That's 1 minute of Han. All right, now I'm going to talk about niche leaders on the rise. I think we're going to see a couple. I think I really like Anakin. I'm just a little nervous about having the initiative. I think that's so important with him, but I think Anakin could be in a really good spot in this mid-range world. I always had trouble with Anakin as a on-2 boy. So if that kind of tracks in this new world, I think that could be a spotlight for him. Jury's still out there on how that matchup changes with Legend of the Force. The other ones are like the space leaders. Poe, I think Poe could be really good. Kind of and we already talked about Vader, but Poe could be really good in going to space when everyone's trying to do this Force stuff because Force is on the ground. I think it'd be cool if pilots could give Force to ships to kind of balance that out, but I'm not on the balance team. I don't know what I'm talking about. And then what other niche leaders I wanted to talk about? Oh, I think Gar Saxon could be really good. We got the new Vader. We got more shieldy boys off the start. Yeah, I think Gar Saxon, like Gar ECL, could be a good way to attack the meta. But if I had to pick one niche leader to make the top 8, come over here. I don't think I do. I'm gonna go with my boy Emperor Palpatine from first set. If Sabine's on the decrease, could be a little sneaky. We'll see. That's that. All right, so that was my world meta predictions. Highest played, what's on the rise, what's on the fall. I did that backwards. That's okay. Hit me up in the comments with your meta predictions. I'd love to hear them and get a dialogue going in there. I'm sure there's stuff that I missed. So ask me questions. Ask me some questions of what you think could be happening at Worlds and want my take on it. I'm happy to answer that. And I'm excited to see what I'm wrong about as much as what I got right. So we can look back at this video in a month and be like, whoa, Matty, Vader wasn't it, or Han wasn't the most played, Kira got dumpstered. Who knows? Sabine took over the world. I can't wait to see it. I'm really excited for Vegas. See me at the crap stable. See me slinging some twin suns if I don't make it to day 3. Notice I said day 3, not day 2. But yeah, really excited. Hit me in the comments. Let's go.